Hello everyone, and welcome back to those of you that are brave enough to tackle this monstrosity of a problem here. So this is very doable with what we've already seen. It just looks really bad, right? So let's kind of break this up into pieces. We can see here that we have like fractions within fractions. Okay, and so I would encourage us to focus on the numerator here first. Okay, and we'll get that kind of simplified and subtracted. Then we'll focus on the denominator here and get that subtracted. Then we'll focus on doing the division at the end. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, the division. Okay, so let's take this piece right here. I'm going to move it right over here, and we'll say, okay, b squared. Let's go ahead and actually factor that b squared plus b minus 1 as well, right? We can do that. Two numbers that multiply to make -1 and add to make 1. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It doesn't factor. My mistake. So never mind. We're going to keep it that way. All right, so still we're going to take the numerator here and bring it over. Okay. So we're just focusing on the numerator for right now. We're going to get these pieces together and do that subtraction. And again, in order to do that, we need common denominators. So right now we have a 2b minus 1 in that denominator, but this denominator, well, there isn't one, right? But anytime there you have just a number or anything by itself, you can always put it over 1. Okay, so what's it going to take here to get a common denominator? Well, since we only have that 2b minus 1 that we have to worry about, we'll just multiply this by 2b minus 1 over 2b minus 1 as well. Which will yield still the b squared plus b minus 1 over the 2b minus 1. But it'll be minus, and then 2b minus 1 over 2b minus 1. Okay. Don't forget that this minus here, when we go to do the subtraction, will distribute to both terms. So I, again, am going to change it to add and then make these both opposites. Oops. So this becomes a plus 1. And now let's add these pieces in the numerator together. So we will get b squared minus b, and then the plus 1 and the minus 1 and the plus 1 will cancel exactly. So we get b squared minus b over 2b minus 1, which that can further factor to b times b minus 1 over 2b minus 1. Okay, so that's our numerator here. So we can say this is equal to b over b minus 1 over 2b minus 1. And then let's go ahead and do this piece next, and we'll do that right down here as well. Okay, so we have 4, or again, we can make it 4 over 1, minus 8 over b plus 1. Okay, again, we're going to subtract here, whoops, and so we need common denominators. We can see here that this denominator already has like a 1 in front of it like that, so we don't need to worry about that, 1. But then what's this denominator missing? Well, it needs the b plus 1, right? So we'll multiply the top and bottom by b plus 1 over b plus 1. Okay, so why don't you guys go ahead and simplify it from there. Multiply it out, do subtraction, and figure out what our final answer is here when we put it all together. Okay, hopefully you paused the video and did that. So let's see what happens. The 4 would distribute here to both terms. So you get 4b plus 4. The 1 will distribute, but it's just 1, so it just stays b plus 1. Minus 8 over b plus 1. So here we're going to subtract just that 8. So if you like, again, you could change it to add the opposite, so add -8 there. And so that's going to give us 4b. We have a positive 4 and a -8, so that's going to give us minus 4 over the b plus 1. Okay? And so that is going to go right up here in our denominator. Okay? Now, the next step, we have to deal with the division, right? Remember, in the past lessons, though, what did we do when we divided fractions? Instead of dividing, what did we do? We changed it to multiplication. So instead of dividing by this, we will multiply by its reciprocal. So we'll still have the b times b minus 1 over 2b minus 1. But we'll multiply by the reciprocal of this. So we'll have the b plus 1 over the 4b minus 4. Okay, and we can go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and factor the 4 out of that b minus 4. So it'll be 4 times b minus 1 there instead. And wow, what do you know? We can simplify something, right? B minus 1. Can anything else simplify here? The answer is no, unfortunately not. This b has no other individual b in the denominator here, okay? We can't cancel that with a b there because it's 2b minus 1. And so because of that minus 1, that means we can't really get to this 2b here, okay, to simplify. So unfortunately, yeah, no to that. Okay, what about this b plus 1? Well, there's no b plus 1 to be had down here. So again, no. This is the best we can do. So now we finally multiply. So it'll be b squared plus b, because again that b distributes to both terms here. And it'll be 2b minus 1 times the 4. So you can write it just 4 times 2b minus 1 if you like, or you can write it as 8b minus 4 like that if you like. Okay, and that is the simplified form of that mess right there. Look at all that work. Isn't it beautiful? Okay, very well. So lesson summary. We extended addition and subtraction of rational numbers to addition and subtraction of rational expressions. Okay, that's what we did here, right? So find a common multiple of the denominators to use as a common denominator. Find equivalent rational expressions for each expression using the common denominator. And then add or subtract the numerators, right? Only the numerators as indicated, and simplify if needed. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.